What's going on? It is Greg O'Gallagher here, and in this video I want to talk about intermittent fasting. So a lot of people that follow my videos, they might see there's some similarities to other figures. And of course there is, because at the end of the day, getting in great shape, there's nothing inherently unique, or it's like everything is going to be different. There's always going to be similarities, and my approach has evolved based on a lot of different fitness figures. When I was first starting out, I was learning heavily from Ross Enamate. I really dug his approach, and even Joe DeFranco, strength coach, and Kelly Baggett, and it kind of evolved. I was learning from all these different figures. Now, as far as intermittent fasting goes, I first learned about intermittent fasting from one of my main mentors, Rusty Moore of Fitness Black Book, now Visual Impact. And he brought me on to study and learn from Brad Pilon of Eat Stop Eat, Ori Hofmeckler. And it was only after I started doing intermittent fasting for a while and learning from those people, then I came across Martin Burkhandt's work, which I heavily admired because I felt like he really got a lot of stuff right, and he did an amazing job at busting all the bullshit myths surrounding intermittent fasting. That said, there's a lot I agree with as far as Martin Burkhandt and Leangains is concerned, and a lot I disagree with. In fact, I probably have more differences than similarities, because some people will inadvertently mistake that I'm doing Leangains. It's no, I'm not even close, because the similarities are the fact that we both train 3 days per week. Neither of us invented the idea of training 3 days per week. In fact, I first started training 3 days per week when I was doing starting strength back when I was 14. Even before that, I was lifting strength training 3 times per week with bodyweight training. We both do reverse pyramid training. Martin Burkhandt was the one who inspired me to do reverse pyramid training, so I'll give him credit there. But again, this style of training dates back beyond Martin Burkhandt. I've taken a lot further as far as implementing rest pause work on isolation movements and setting up the training in a certain way to build a certain type of physique, and some really cool ways to maximize strength gains. As far as the people following my courses, they get the craziest strength gains, especially on upper body movements, which are a lot harder. Adding strength to squats and deadlifts is a much easier ball game than building up to a 250 pound incline press or 120 pound chin-ups. So we both do 3 days a week. We both do the reverse pyramid training. And we both don't recommend cardio. And actually, Martin Burkhandt was the one that really inspired me to kind of chill on the cardio and go do more walking, etc. And so yeah, he inspired me there, and that's been really effective. But I also don't really recommend the heavy amounts of squats and deadlifts he promotes. In his programs, from what I've seen, he doesn't really put enough work on the shoulders, as far as not much overhead pressing, not much lateral and rear delt work. But I mean, he could have changed his approach there, but that's just from what I've seen and what I've heard. But I mean, the real differences come into light even in the nutrition game, because his style of intermittent fasting is kind of, I feel, rigid. It didn't make my life better. It didn't make my life more enjoyable. I mean, it's that 8-hour window, and that can become very confining. In fact, a lot of the people that I've taught or coached, they've actually initially did not like intermittent fasting. I did a podcast on my channel with Diddy. She hated it. She couldn't do it because the eating window was way too strict. She had a family, she couldn't eat at the exact same time every single day. And so I actually recommend not doing an eating window, not doing an 8-hour eating window. The benefits of fasting come from pushing that first meal later into the day. Right? You don't need to have some strict exact 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. If you wake up at 8, try and just push that first meal. Maybe if you're beginner, maybe just till 12. Maybe if you want to go a bit more advanced, go to 2 or 3, maybe till 4. So you're kind of just pushing that first meal, and then from there, just enjoy life. Hit your calories, hit your macros in the way that's most enjoyable for you. Maybe that's 3 medium meals. Maybe that's 2 big meals. Maybe that's 1 massive meal and just some random food here and there. So we have differences there, and I've actually evolved a lot of my tips to make intermittent fasting effortless, as far as using sparkling water, using caffeine but not right away, waiting those first couple hours, then hitting it. That will help you blunt your appetite more. Not using caffeine when you start feasting. These really make the fasting effortless. But then even going a step further, you know, as far as nutrition protocols, Martin Berkhan really recommends, you know, jack up your calories 3 days a week to maintenance or higher on training days. This slows down fat loss massively. In fact, I couldn't get lean with this approach. It was just so slow, and every time I went higher in calories, it made going lower in calories the next day harder. I'm like, oh, I'm having 2,700 calories today, and the next day I'm like, oh, I can only have like 1,800. It's like not fun, or 1,700. Because the reality, if you're trying to lean down and lose like a pound of fat a week, and you're going up to maintenance 3 days a week, you have to go a lot lower on those 4 days to compensate for the higher days, or you have to just lose fat like half a pound a week, which isn't great. So that wasn't fun at all. Martin Berkhan recommends using absurd amounts of protein, well above 1 gram per pound. For like a 180 pound guy, he probably put you at 240, 250. That high protein is completely unnecessary. From his stance, it's all about the, you know, fullness effect. But if you're doing intermittent fasting, you don't really need to eat like 2 pounds of meat in a meal. You only have a couple meals. Like, you know, if you go lower in protein, you're gonna get a lot of meat, you know? So that is absurd. And the problem with that is it makes life unenjoyable, because you gotta spend all this time cooking and preparing meats. It's expensive, and you don't get as much room for fats and carbs, which fats and carbs are what make dieting enjoyable. You know, being able to eat your favorite foods. You know, carbs help with sleep and serotonin and feeling good. Fat makes food taste good. So a really high protein diet just messes with the enjoyment factor. And furthermore, fats and carbs are the main drivers of testosterone. I'm sure Martin Berkhan would completely agree with this, because the research is clear. You know, low-fat diets suppress testosterone. Low-carb diets really suppress testosterone. So if you're eating a high-protein diet, the fats and carbs won't be there to support testosterone, which is really important when you're dieting to low levels of body fat. In fact, the reason I'm able to maintain a rampant like sex drive and high levels of testosterone naturally without any supplements and without any steroids is because I make sure to structure my diet in a way that makes that doable. And part of that is not going too high in protein. For me, I do about 120 grams of protein a day. If I was doing the Leangains model, I'd do about 250. And furthermore, what I really don't like about the Leangains approach is the fact that you're cycling the carbs and the fat. So on training days, even though you're eating like a lot of calories, it's not that fun, because you're supposed to keep your fats really low. And then eating all this protein and carbs without fats is not fun. I don't get full and satisfied. I did Leangains back in 2012 and I fucking hated it. I couldn't get great results with it. It was brutal. And I was obsessed with like eating all this protein and cooking all this protein and like tracking these macros perfectly, and I did not have the results to show for it. My little niece is over there distracting me. So that did not work very well, because here's the deal. Eating a lot of protein and carbs is not fun without fat. Similarly, on your rest days, going really low in carb is not that fun. You don't sleep as well. You're not as satisfied from food. It's just not as sweet. And then bouncing between low carb and high carb like every other day can mess with your head. You don't feel that great. So pretty much, I did not like the Leangains model. My approach is much more enjoyable. It's like, let's find the most enjoyable way to hit this deficit. Let's find the most enjoyable way to hit your calories. Let's get in sufficient protein. You know, let's get sufficient protein. Let's balance those fats and carbs so you actually feel fantastic, so you can finally enjoy the foods you like. If you have to go low fat, you can't have amazing potato wedges and steak because the fat will be too high. So that's why I hate, you know, these crazy low fat, low carb approaches. They're not fun. And at the end of the day, it's that balance of macros that will really make you feel incredible, that will give you the freedom to eat the foods that you love, and that will properly support, you know, testosterone functioning. I'm sure there's many other differences, but I kind of just filmed this video on a cuff, so I don't really know what else to say. A big part of my approach as far as nutrition has been teaching people the mental aspect, teaching them how to enjoy the process. Eckhart Tolle was a huge inspiration for me, and I've actually changed thousands of lives, not from my advice, but simply opening the door to, like, you know, being present and sharing what, you know, Eckhart Tolle did for me, and that's helped them insurmountably, because at the end of the day, you need to learn how to enjoy this process. You need to learn how to enjoy every step to your goal body, because if you're not enjoying the journey there, it's meaningless, and it's just gonna be this brutal chronic obsession, and you're gonna mess up every step of the way. You're gonna be depleting all this willpower. I got some little thing on my shoe. There we go. It's not scraping anymore. So Eckhart Tolle's been a huge inspiration for me. And yeah, so teach people to become present, to enjoy the process, to like make fitness fall into the background and focus on primary goals, you know, conquering whatever business they're after, whatever career, you know, having the social life, like going after a full, complete life that fulfills you, because just being in shape will not fulfill you. Just being in shape will not fulfill you. For me to be fulfilled, I need to be conquering it with my business, which is this, running Kinobody. I need to be conquering it with in my dating life, whether it's being with one girl I think is fantastic, or just exploring, you know, different things. So I truly believe, you know, if you guys are following my stuff, you want to be, you know, striving for, you know, a complete and full life, not just obsessing with fitness, and making the fitness thing so enjoyable, not obsessing with eating tons of protein, not being like, oh, can I break my fast? I gotta wait till 1 o'clock, or oh my God, I gotta get home for 9 o'clock to eat my last meal. Like, fuck that shit, okay? Wake up, friggin' just go about your day, push your first meal later. If you need to end it earlier, that's okay. If you need to, you know, if you want to break your fast later and go till 8, that's fine. If you want to eat chocolate, I eat chocolate and pop chips literally every day. I eat a lot of cheese quesadillas. I structure my diet choices not based on like what is the tastiest, but what satisfies me, what will fill me up, what will make eating 2,200 calories or wherever I am at this point as effortless as possible. And for me, you know, some high quality organic chocolate satisfies me insurmountably. Cheese quesadillas satisfies me. You know, a couple apples here and there, which is another tip I talk about, which made fasting super easy for a lot of people, is let's say, you know, you're fasting, you wake up at 9, you start to get hungry around 1, and then you're like, you know, you want to slam a big meal. Well, if you actually break your fast with an apple, you could probably push your first meal 2 hours later. And now you have the big meal a bit later in the day. So now it's easier to diet, because if you eat a big meal too early, sometimes that can make you want to continue eating and eating and eating. But if you kind of get that big meal a little bit later into the day, you know, having a piece of fruit, an apple, a banana, it makes life easier. So I don't know. I really respect Martin Berkhan as far as what he did, you know, a few years ago. He's really fallen off the map. So actually, when I first started talking about intermittent fasting, I paid Martin Berkhan a ton of homage, whatever. Fucking, I don't even know what the word is. I paid Rusty Moore, and still do, like a ton of credit. Same thing with Martin Berkhan. Same thing with Brad Pilon and Ori Hofmeckler. But I'm done. I'm done paying homage to Martin Berkhan, because at the end of the day, you know, I'm the one pumping out videos, answering your comments, creating tons of courses. Martin Berkhan never created a course. He could have. He didn't, because he was more identified with the victim mindset. He was more identified with the victim mentality, where he wanted to have this story that he created intermittent fasting, which is untrue. People were doing it long before he came. He wanted to create a story that he created it, and then he wanted to have the victim mentality. We're like, oh, they're stealing what is mine. I invented this. They're taking all this credit. It's like, dude, people gave Martin Berkhan a ton of credit. People linked out to his site like crazy. They gave him everything he needed to build something massive. He had this Facebook page that was rampant, and then his own ego got in his way. If you want to see an example of someone's ego getting in the way, that's Martin Berkhan. It could be me too, in a year or right now, I don't know. But I'm just being frank. I don't mean to call him out. He was a lot of inspiration. He did amazing things, but that's just the truth of it. So I normally don't like to call people out, but you know, people kept saying like not people kept saying, but occasional someone will be like, hey, this is Leangains, you're ripping off Leangains. It's like, no, I'm fucking not. I'm not even fucking close. There are so many differences. Yeah, we both do some IF. Yeah, we both train 3 times per week, you know? Yeah, but even my training protocols are vastly different. You can't even like stretch that it's the same. You know, for my training, it's a lot more upper body focused. Lower body's more in like a maintenance style. I do a lot more, you know, I'll implement rest pause work, because I feel like to get the maximum muscle growth, you need to get that heavy reverse pyramid training, and then to get that sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, to get that extra volume in, you need to bring in some lightweight stuff. I talk about exercise rotation. let's talk about exercise rotation. If you're doing heavy reverse pyramid training, you'll probably stall out, depending on how advanced you are, in a month, in 3 months, in 4 months, and you need a fresh stimulus. So by doing, I learned a lot from Westside Barbell, by rotating your exercises, you'll actually be able to continue making PRs. So let's say you stall out on incline barbell bench. Well then, go to dumbbells for a few weeks, and then go back to barbells. You'll probably be not stronger, but then it'll set the stage for more strength gains. If you stall out on overhead barbell press, then switch to dumbbells, you know, and seated dumbbells, and then by rotating the exercises, you'll be able to make long-term strength gains, you know, continually. If you just do the same exercise, the same program, you're gonna stall very, very quickly. So anyways, and I talk about micro loading, which has been massively, massively effective. So anyways, I need to get some Americanos because I just got up and it's time for some coffee. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I don't mean to tear apart Martin Berkhan. Like I said, he was a huge source of inspiration, but his time, like, he's not getting any more homage from me. Homage. What the fuck is the word? I've never had to use it before. He's not getting any more credit from me because I learned from him back in 2012, and then I had to, for me to get to my physique goals, for me to get to my, not just my physique goals, yes, my physique goals, but for me to get to a point where this stuff was so effortless, I could just live my life, go out on dates with girls, go out with friends, eat tons of food, and just be able to make this stuff fall into the background, not stress about it. I had to let go of it. I had to fucking let go of it. The tons of protein, the calorie cycling, the flow fat, high carb, this and that, the 8-hour window, it fucking killed me. It didn't help me. It like made it harder. I was worried about going traveling because I'm like, oh, what about this 8-hour window bullshit? Like, how to go travel this 8-hour window bullshit? How is that gonna work? Like the time difference, this and that. Like, how do I properly hit these low fat, how do I get a low fat and high protein, high carb meal when I'm going out to restaurants? How do I do that? How do I do, you know? So I mean, to me, it just stressed me out, and I had to get rid of that to get to where I am. So a lot of people I know that follow Kinobody, they did Leangains before, then they found Kinobody and they found it so much more enjoyable and less stressful. So anyways, guys, I really hope you enjoyed the video. Like I said, I've learned off a lot of people, but at the end of the day, it's the Bruce Lee mentality where take that which works, discard the rest, and make it your own. That's what I've done as far as learning off, you know, a ton of people. Martin Berkhan, you know, Brad Pilon, Rusty Moore, Joe DeFranco, the Westside Barbell guys, Kelly Baggett, Ross Ennemate, tons of different people. I learned off them. Even Eckhart Tolle, I've applied that to the fitness. So at the end of the day, take that which works, discard the rest, and make it your own. If I was just copying someone, I wouldn't make these videos. I wouldn't create programs to just be like, buy that dude's shit or watch that guy's video. But I'm sharing this because I'm like, this is what I do because it's the best. This is what is giving me the best results. So I'm gonna share it. Yeah, so same thing with you. When you watch my videos and read my programs, you know, fully implement it. But if you need to like adjust something, or if something's working well and something doesn't help you, then same thing, Bruce Lee. Take that which works, discard what doesn't. Yeah. If you guys are ready to join Kinobody, then go over here to kinobody.com/survey. Take the physique survey. It's gonna put you in, you know, 5 or 6 different physique camps you can fall into, and from there I can give you the best advice to hitting your physique goals and showing you what program will work best based on where you are. So hope you enjoyed the video. That's all. Bye.